if it's a standalone system,
Yes.
it would need an earth state.
Right.
But generally these things won't be standalone. You'll be plugging them in from another installation.
Shore power.
Yes.
Okay.
If you'd like to call it shore
Okay.
power.
So without the shore power, if a tiny house on wheels was to be completely off grid,
Yes, it would require an earth state.
it would require an earth stake, which must be installed and removed by a licensed electrician. So that's something to consider if you're looking into a complete off-grid tiny house on wheels. And we've got lots and lots of twin cable here to make sure we install everything we need to register this tiny house on wheels. And what's needed there is these little things. There's a few different colours in here, but basically we've got markers to show on the road how high our tiny house on wheels is, how wide it is, and where the outline of it is, especially when it's travelling at night. Yeah,
That's right.
And what is it? What is it on here that makes this compliant? What's this ADR?
ADR,
Is that Australian
design
regulations?
Regulations, yeah. So that's more of a transport thing, but it's basically your red light's got to be at the back and the orange lights are towards the front. These obviously go on the side. And what is I think it's over wider than 2.1 or longer than 7.5.
Yep.
It's over 7.5 and then one in the middle, one front and back. And if it's over 2.1, you need to put white lights on the front and red lights on the back.
There we go. So tiny house on wheels will require to be compliant with all trailer and transportable vehicle legislation. So we need to make sure we get the electrics right for that. We need to make sure we get the electrics right for we're not installing a solar system today. But I just want you to know that there are a few considerations if you're looking into that for your tiny house on wheels. But generally, with a plug and play on-grid, we call it on-grid model, with an on-grid with an on-grid tiny house on wheels, we're looking at making sure that we've got enough protection in our circuitry to allow for the power coming in. So most transportable structures, for example caravans, are kitted out with a 15 amp shore power input, and the reason is because there's so many electrical components operating in that caravan. However, with tiny houses on wheels, a lot of them aren't going to be operating in a caravan park. A lot of them are going to be operating in a backyard or on site where there's only 10 amp power coming to the unit. So can you please just let us know, Ryan, what considerations are there? If we've only got 10 amps coming in instead of 15 amp power, how does that change what can and can't be done with your tiny house on wheels?
You just got to be very aware of what you're using. Generally, we put 15 amp plugs on these because generally in Australia that's what's available if you're at a caravan park, or it's more common to have a 15 amp inlet to it. So if you only got 10 amps, you can only use 10 amps worth of power basically.
All right, so 10 amps in watts. Roughly what's 10 amps in watts?
2400 watts.
2400 watts. So if you've got a power drill or a
depending on the size of it, your heating elements are the ones you want to watch. Because a kettle can be 1800 watts. If you're on 15 amps, you've got 3600 watts. So if you're boiling a jug, that's half your power gone straight away. So you just have to be very mindful of what you want to run.
All right, so it may not...
And use diversification. Boiling a jug, you're obviously not going to be running a heater at the same time.
Yes, sure. So that's what we have to be mindful of. You can't boil the kettle on an electric hot plate while you're having a shower.
Yeah,
if you're heating your water.
And the best idea is to use as much gas as you can for heating, water, showers. Again, be mindful of what appliances you want to put in. LED lighting is good. Compressor fridges, you probably want to look at the newer technology inverter fridges. Things like that.
So I guess technology. Well, electricity's probably only been around for 100 years or so, but isn't it amazing how we think we can't live without it now?
That's right.
So if we start exploring some alternatives to electricity, obviously that's your livelihood you want to see disappear. But when it comes to tiny house living, you can quite easily go to gas for cooking,
That's right.
for water heating, and as far as electricity goes, well, it's fairly without those things chewing up that considerable amount with the heating and the cooling. Air conditioning is of course a big consideration in this climate, obviously. But there's lots of ways, isn't there, to design your tiny house on wheels to reduce the amount of electricity you're using.